Hey, this is Notser, and today we're taking a look at the Dunkerque. This is the Tier 6 Premium French Battleship in a bad matchup. We are bottom tier, and, I felt like, well, this is from someone requesting on stream, and the game ended up being very fun, and it was pretty competitive, so hopefully you guys enjoy it. Now, the Dunkerque's weird. It's kind of like the Richelieu. All the guns are forward, and it's sort of a shotgun. And I don't remember. But I swear that there was a patch, probably like 6 months or maybe a year ago at this point, gosh, I don't even know, where I think they improved the rate of fire of the Dunkerque. But you know what? The build that I've gone is full tank build. Since it's a premium, I'm using Felipe, so you're going to see the blue shell tracers. Highly encourage you guys to make use of your legendary commanders. And ooh, nice. That was a nice shell grouping. 3 shells on the enemy DD, and he's out of the game already. The Dunkerque's an interesting one with its position, and you have to sort of compensate for that. Because I've taken some accuracy skills along with tank skills, the guns feel a little bit more manageable, more so than a shotgun. So at this point, we're just trying to bring our guns to the place on the map where they can do the most damage, and obviously we spawned on the west side, so I felt like, okay, this is where we need to be. The enemy Gallant is playing it very interestingly. He came around the island and he aggressively used smoke, maybe in an attempt to avoid taking damage, maybe an attempt to continue the push. We get a nice little chunk of damage on the New Mexico over the island. Enemy Bismarck returns fire, and the shells bounce off. I always love that shell bounce. It's the best sound audio that you can ask for when taking fire in a battleship. So obviously the Gallant, not visible, and more shells ricocheting. Not visible, but we do have kind of the broadside of the Bismarck, so that's what we're going to work on. Of course, mindful that all our guns are forward facing. So it's really important, damn, good shot from the Bismarck, that we focus all of our efforts in the forward position. And I am concerned that the Gallant could potentially be looking to, punish me, punish the friendly DD, and of course he's now visible. And we lose the friendly DD, so now we don't really have spotting outside. And there is a friendly DD that's trying to capture A, but he is also still very obviously there. So of course, it could go really bad. And is the Gallant going to allow me to shoot at him? I try and do quick math in my head. The bottom bar is tailor-made for 20 knots. We get 1 overpin, of course. The bottom bar is 20 knots, but if you double it, then you get 40 knots, and bam, that's pretty much your average DD. So Gallant only takes 1 overpin, but the Bismarck's dead. So that's a gain. So now we just have to maybe rely on our aircraft carrier to spot the Gallant. Oh, the Gallant shows himself. Oh, well, the New Mexico tries to show him. And since he is obviously spotted, we are considering whether we fire. Oh, enemy aircraft carrier coming. This is the one area of this game where I do regret that I did not try and fire on that DD more. That was a little misplay there by the aircraft carrier. I'm sure he didn't mean to do that. But I should have been firing on the enemy Gallant. He's obviously spotted. He's obviously done really good damage to the New Mexico already. And it's important that I help my teammate. And of course he's going to take 2. Yep, takes 2 and he dies. And now he's unspotted. I could have easily fired maybe 2 times. And, it would have killed him. But it would have been chip damage that would have allowed him to be more vulnerable in more situations in the near future. But we're doing all right as a team. Clearly, we have 3 bases to their 0. All we need to really do is do damage when we can. And obviously, New Mexico, he's broadside. We get pretty good damage, and honestly, shell grouping at that range. There is, obviously, the Battleship. It's not a New Mexico that I just fired on. That's the New Mexico I fired on. The Doria. This is the Italian Battleship, the Tier 6. That's what we fired on. Anyway, it's important to just put my guns where they're useful and fire on cooldown in order to keep up with the problem. The enemy aircraft carrier is already taken out, but we still have that Gallant, and he isn't spotted, and we don't really know where he's going. There's an island there sort of blocking line of sight. We're kind of in the dark. There's so many people trying to converge on his position, I can't imagine that he's going to get through. So while that's going on, of course, we're going to fire continuously on these great big battleships. I'm hoping that the New Mexico is interested in showing himself. Yeah, there we go. 10,000, that's what we want. I'm hoping that New Mexico is willing to show himself because I am just firing. You know, pretty much just firing on cooldown, waiting for something to happen. East side, the enemy is winning, so they will capture the base, it looks like. So our 3 base will go down to 2. That's okay. Good angle, good reaction from the enemy Italian battleship. Because it's French, you have high gun velocity, but the shells lack in gun caliber. So you really need a perfect position to be successful with AP. Otherwise, you would just fire HE if he's bow in. And I'm hoping that the AP is going to be enough. It's not. An HE shell would have been more useful in that situation. Unfortunately, it wasn't. But, you know what? Just got to learn from it and load the next shell. Now the Italian, he is coming closer. And he can be punished. So I really hope our shells just go where they need to go. And that was much better. We did get 2 overpin. There are 2 battleships in the area. All I'm trying to do is maintain as good of an angle as I can and kill this guy before it's too late. Still, the Gallant is not spotted. You know, the Gallant basically was, we couldn't find the Gallant, so we left it. Ooh, that was a nice broadside. See you later, Italian. And oh, looky there. That's where the DD went. He went right over to, and oh, check this out, the New Mexico. He's not moving forward. The Sims misses all the torps but 1. Oh, the Sims, I'm sure he wishes he had that back. I'm trying to help him, and oh, of course we get a shotgun salvo right there. Nowhere near the target. And, of course, our aircraft carrier is going to die to the enemy Gallant that was... I guess people gave up on the Gallant? I don't know. When you guys recognize a DD is interested in pushing like the Gallant did, it's probably a good idea to take him out. Yeah, we miss out on that kill, but of course he's dead. And we've done 70,000 damage, which isn't too bad. But this game is not decided. They're going to capture B point. There's a couple enemy ships, and I was like, what's going on with this Fiji? He seems to not want to move. So I decide to use my scout aircraft and fire out his position, knowing full well there's no way I can actually hit like the Gallant, and I can't see the enemy DD, so this is really the only option I have in this position. And we actually get a Citadel, which is nice. But that's going to be the last time I see him for a little bit. Enemy DD sent torpedoes, and we're going to take one right on the nose. Thankfully, it didn't cause a flood. Trying to do a check on the Gallant. The friendly aircraft carrier still has his squadron up, so he's still trying to spot. But I don't know if that's going to end up being enough. And the Miyoko, barely alive, should not be firing. You know, it should be me, it should be all the DDs. That's what we should be doing. So, I was approaching this as, you know, we're kind of running out of ships. So, I feel like I have to push the tempo. Now, in this situation, you really would prefer your friendly DD to be in front of your ship. He can obviously spot torpedoes easier and dodge them easier, but he can also spot the enemy so we can kill him. Now, the enemy DD sent his torps, and I was rushing for this open gap, and we just barely got there without taking any torpedo damage, which is awesome. Enemy Gallant has taken a lot of fire, but the aircraft carrier, his squadron's dead. So as long as he, you know, holds his fire, he's not going to fall prey to anything. And yep, just as my shell, or just as my guns traverse into position, we are not able to fire at him. Now, I could continue the pursuit. But I was thinking to myself, If I continue the pursuit, he probably will torpedo me on cooldown, and he will never actually show himself. The only way I could actually take the Gallant out is if that friendly Sims would come with me. But he is obviously going B, partially because I recommended it. Now, he did catch sight of a torpedo, so I do drop my speed. And we're going to allow the first set to go past, and then the second set, we're going to try and speed up and avoid these. Obviously, easier said than done once you drop that much speed. But it does look like we might avoid all but one. Yeah, we're going to take one. Friendlies on the east side have basically fallen. The only ship left is the Lightning. Enemy Gaja, pretty low, but he's outside of my range and I don't have any way of extending it. I am trying to keep with my DD. In a situation like this, you do not want to separate yourself too much from your teammates because they give you value in their spotting and the tools they have. And I really wish that I had that salvo back. It's almost like the enemy DDs were laughing at me. And up, the Gallant took out the Miyoko. Would have been a perfect opportunity to return fire. And all of a sudden, we are actually down on ships. Which isn't good. And yep, the Gallant, he tried his hardest to send torpedoes and actually damage us. But he didn't. And the Sims actually was the primary target of the enemy DD. So I don't have to worry about any more torpedoes coming my way. I can set up my positioning to be successful against the Dunkerque, successful against the Fiji, maybe even the Gaja. Obviously, I'm focused on the Battleship, though, because the rest are DDs. And oh, yeah, Fire and Fury. Definitely a skill that you make use of with Felipe in a Battleship. Of course not. Oh, okay. Four damage. Oh, what is he? He's still here. Why is he still there? So I was like, the only way that he could possibly be there still and not move is if he's disconnected. And that's exactly what has happened. The Fiji, unfortunately, disconnected. Now you'll notice my first salvo at the waterline ricochets significantly on a Fiji. The gun caliber is rather small, so it can't overmatch quite like it. But if you can locate your shells better, you can find a little bit softer armor. Now, I don't want to go too far forward because there's a Gaja and obviously a Dunkerque, so I want to kind of make the Dunkerque come to me. And while obviously he's coming to me, I can easily just farm this guy, and that's much better location for a smaller than average gun caliber. If we have a salvo just like that, he'll basically be dead. Now, look at what has just happened. The Sims went back, defended A, and he absolutely did a great job. Ooh, look how close these torps were. He did a great job. I felt like that's where he was best used, to go over there, bump into the Gallant, kill him, and then come back. And it worked out beautifully. There's so many situations where a DD can make a hugely impactful decision, whether to go after someone who's spotted or, kill the target that is still there, rather than, maybe going forward and looking for torpedo hits on a target that it's not going to happen. Ooh, that's a good salvo from the Dunkerque. But I'm thankful that DD's at least dead. At least we've brought this a little bit closer to a successful game. And oh, look at the front Dunkerque. 50% of his guns are gone. When we aim at the bow, we should have aimed a little bit forward, I guess. We had 3 ricochet, but 4 pin. He returns fire in the perfect position for me. And I'm trying to give ground because the only thing that he can do is ram me. I don't want the ram. I just want him to show a little bit of his side, just a little bit, and boom, knock him out. Enemy torpedoes are on the north side. That gives me confidence that I am not the primary target of either. Clearly the Gaja is firing from smoke. And of course, basically the last salvo where we are detected, he sets us on fire. So now we're going to burn for the full duration of this fire. It's not going to kill us. It's just annoying. And I'm sure many of you are like, yeah, that's stupid. Gotcha. Getting that extra fire damage. But this game ended up being pretty awesome. because we're the bottom tier battleship, and we definitely did a great job for our team. Ooh, can we finish him? I really want to finish him off here. Oh, so close. So close. That would have been the 4th kill in the game. As it stands, game over, man. And it's a victory for the Dunkerque. Can't say that as frequently as some people would hope, of course. My day was great, honestly, on stream, and this was no exception. Dunkerque carried for the team and did an awesome job. And how often can you say that? But thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked the video, like it. If you dislike, dislike. If you'd like to check out more of my content, you can obviously subscribe to my channel. We have most recent and relevant videos. I do World of Warship videos, first impression, how-to, news, or review related. My North American recruit invite is on the screen. You can take advantage of that. I stream at twitch.tv/Notser. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.